Voila, and here we go. Hello, here we go. Hi, everybody, and welcome to InHouse-CON. Thank you for joining us this week. I am Derek Mackey, the founder of InHouse-CON and president of Cool Waters Productions. Who are we and what do we do? Cool Waters Productions is an appearance management company out here in Hollywood, and we bring celebrity talent all around the world to see fans just like you who are watching today face to face. But because of COVID-19, sadly, we are not allowed to do that because large public gatherings at events are not allowed. So sitting at home back in March, I was figuring out to myself what I was going to do. And I decided to bring some of my wonderful talent to you guys virtually. And so that is where we are today, InHouse-CON. And I thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you'll enjoy our show today. I want to make sure that you know that InHouse-CON runs every Saturday throughout the month. And in October, we've got some great events coming up. We've got our, I believe it's our third, could be our fourth. I've already started to lose track of how many shows we've done. Our next Star Trek event is coming up, Star Trek Universe. We've got 4 actors who are joining us next week. And then for the first time ever, we are going to have 5 voiceover actors from the Peanuts Charlie Brown franchise that are all appearing together. First time, they've never done it as a group. They're going to be joining us. I still can't announce one of the events in October. We're waiting for confirmation on one guest. But I can tell you this, the film is streaming on Amazon and it's a Disney movie. And we're hoping that we'll be able to announce it by Monday. So watch for that. That's going to be a weekend in October. And then I'm really thrilled. Last weekend in October, we are going to have Hollywood icon and legend Billy D. Williams joining us in a solo interview, which will be really cool. I have to make sure that I thank some special guests for this week. This show would not be possible without the support of the fans like you guys, our celebrity clients who join us, but also for these social media outlets, because they get the word out about our event. So I need to thank Nerd Alert News, Be More Super Podcast, my friends over at Beckett Media, and this week Comic-Con Network. So I really appreciate that. Plus, of course, Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, all the retweets and the reposts are fantastic. So I appreciate that. So I got to remind everyone watching, this is how we run the show, okay? We have 2 areas that fans can comment and chat in and ask questions in. However, please understand the difference. The chat room itself is only for fans to talk amongst each other. Myself and the celebrities will not be in the chat room, okay? The celebrities have been asked to focus on me and the camera so that you guys have their undivided attention. The chat room is for you guys to talk amongst each other, and please feel free to do so. Also, the chat room is where, if you're having technical difficulties with your specific device or Zoom, you can ask my technical guy, Tyler, for some help, and he can hopefully guide you through on how to fix it, okay? Now, how do you ask questions to our celebrity talent today? That is very simple, and that is the second area where you can interact. On the bottom right of your screen, there is a button, Q&A. That is the question and answer room. You are going to go there to submit your questions. Your questions will be read by me aloud on air, and then our celebrity talent will be answering it live on air, okay? So get your questions in now. You don't have to wait until I start asking my questions to get them in. Get your thinking caps on. Again, we ask that you don't do any questions about politics, religion, sex, or I always forget that. Anyway, you know, keep it fun and light is the whole point, guys. That's what we want to do, okay? So before we bring on our guests, I want to show you the classic trailer of the film that we're celebrating today. And after we take a look at that, we'll bring them on. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to do a screen share right now. Hang tight, and here we go. Well, it would help if I showed the right video. Sorry guys, that is what's called a technical glitch. I shared the wrong video. Hold on one second. I'm gonna get out of this window. This is the pleasures of doing something live on the air. Mistakes happen and you get to see it live while it happens. I've got the right one this time. Here we go.
In this modern age,
Perfect.
too many people have lost sight of the true meaning of Christmas.
Mom! Hush! Shut up, Ralphie!
So now, in the spirit of the original,
Me to you. Stop!
tradition, American Christmas.
Thanks a lot.
MGM presents A Christmas Story.
Dancing through the snow
Uncle.
in a one-horse open sleigh. For the field we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, baby still inside. What fun it is to ride and sing.
Fragile. It must be Italian.
I think that says fragile.
A Christmas Story.
Come on.
The movie that pulls off Santa's beard.
Oh, wow.
And unwraps the secrets
Did I get a tie this year?
of the original, traditional,
He looks like a deranged Easter bunny.
100% two-fisted, red-blooded,
It's smiling at me.
all-American Christmas. A Christmas Story.
Oh, that's a riot. Okay, I can't. I'm not going to wait till Christmas to watch that. I might watch it tomorrow on my day off. So everybody, please welcome our special guest today, Zach Ward, Scott Schwartz, Yano Anaya, and Ian Petrella, guys. Hello. Look at that. They're all here. Perfect. My tech guy was ahead of me. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Ian, where are you calling in from today?
Los Angeles, California.
Excellent. Welcome. Scott, how about you?
I am in Memphis, Tennessee.
Aha. How's the weather out there?
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. We finally have gorgeous weather back here in LA. Yano, how about you?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. All right. You guys are safe from any hurricanes and stuff over there?
Yeah, I mean, we've had some bad weather, but yeah, we're good to go. We're pretty much inland, so we're good.
Oh, good. All right. And Zach, how about you, sir?
Los Angeles, California, Studio City.
So that's where I'm calling in from, except I'm calling in from my home in Arleta. But anyway, thanks, guys, for joining us today. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to kick things off because, while we let fans have a chance to get their Q&As in. So we kind of have, my first question has kind of become a staple here on InHouse-CON because it's something that a lot of fans ask. And so I just decided to start every show with the same question. On every show that we do, guys, we focus typically on one film that our guests are part of. We know that you guys all have careers, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But obviously today we are talking about A Christmas Story. And so I'd like each of you to tell me how you got your role in this specific film. Why don't we start it off with Ian?
All right. Well, basically how I got it is, I was a child actor. Started at age 3 years old, had an agent, and it was just a routine audition. They said, we're casting for, it's a new holiday film. They need to fill the role of the younger brother. We don't know what it's about. Just go down there. They're looking at personality. So I went down there to go audition, met with the casting agents. It was just like I said. I mean, they just wanted to see personality. There were no lines. You didn't know what you were going to say or what you were going to do. But apparently they liked me enough to bring me back for what's called a callback. And then after that, the callback went well. And you had a third callback. That's where you met the producer and the director. And then the director liked me, Bob Clark, and said, come on up to Boston. We're going to do a screen test. Did a screen test, just acted out some of the scenes. Still at this point in time, you really have no idea what you're doing. But he would just say, just eat that bowl of oatmeal like a pig. Okay. And then that was it. He's like, you're our Randy. And it wasn't really until you got the script or got to the set that you're like, okay, this is what I'm doing now. So
Was there any oinking during your auditions?
There probably was. I think maybe he would coach me a little bit. It's like, can you give an oink? Like, okay, oink. There.
Great, thanks.
I was an 8-year-old who could follow directions, and I think that's all he was looking for.
Probably right. It's hard to find well-behaved kids. Scott, how about you?
My audition may be the easiest in the history of Hollywood. I had done the film The Toy. I had just finished shooting Kidco for 20th Century Fox, and I got the call to go in for Christmas Story. And I went in to Manhattan in New York and met up with Bob. And we talked for maybe about 5 or 6 minutes, and he says, you know, I'm starving. I haven't had lunch today. You want to go have a hot dog? Sure. You're asking a kid from Jersey, you want to go have a hot dog on the corner? Absolutely. We went downstairs, had a hot dog, just kept chatting, came back upstairs. He said, I got to tell you something. It was really nice to meet you. Thanks for coming in. Within 10 minutes, I was in my agent's office. She was a couple blocks away. And he had already called and said, I got the movie. Did not what role I was playing, no dialogue, nothing. Have a hot dog and shoot the bull, and that was it.
Wow, that is every actor's dream to get a job that way. Fantastic. Yano, how about you?
It wasn't so easy. I went on a cattle call. So I went on a cattle call, and I showed up to this audition. There was, I don't know, literally 100 other kids there. And so I guess just by reading the lines and doing my job, because, you know, that's what we do as an actor, is we're trained to do that. And I got a call back and went back, and that's when I met Bob. Got a second call back, and that's when Bob just said, you know what, just act like a crazy kid. And so I did. I acted like a little rock star. I mean, I was 10 years old, and a day later I got the call. I got the job.
Awesome. Right. Zach, how about you, sir?
Very similar to Yano's experience. Cattle call, hundreds of other kids, multiple callbacks, going down to a couple of 150, 10. And then apparently I got the job. But what was interesting is when we showed up on set, I had never met Bob. Everything was recorded on video cassette back in the day. And then I met Bob, and Yano and I were brought out, and that was the first time I'd ever met Bob. And he saw that I was about a foot taller than Yano, and he just basically swapped our lines. So originally I was the sidekick, and Yano was the bully. And then Bob just changed it on set when we got there.
Okay, see, that actually led into one of my questions, because I did some research about the film. I mean, I love the film itself. I watch it every year, and I was doing some research, and it said that, you know, approximately 300 kids auditioned, and that was going to be one of my questions, if any of you auditioned for one specific role, but then ended up getting another one. So you guys, you answered that question, which is great, and obviously I'm sure part of your height and stature had something to do with it. Scotty, you were handed the role, it sounds like. Ian, what about you? With all those things that you did, were they focusing that it looked like they were shooting for you to be the brother, or could have you ended up being maybe one of the bullies or something on that first maybe cattle call shot at?
No, it was specifically for the brother. And one of the reasons one of the reasons why they picked me is they wanted somebody that could at least pass for Peter's brother.
Right.
Apparently I looked enough like I could pass for his brother. In fact, when we were on the set during filming, before even, you know, a lot of, you know, the word got out that we were shooting a movie, there was a lot of press that was being done, and they were interviewing Peter. And my mom went up to one of them and said, one of the like Entertainment Tonight, was like, why aren't you interviewing my son? He's in the movie, you know. And they said, why would we interview him? He's Peter's little brother. We don't want to have anything to do with him. But I wasn't his little brother. So I guess I did look a lot like his brother when we did shoot the film. But that was one of the main reasons. So no, I wasn't going to be Grover. I wasn't going to be Schwartz or anybody like that. It was specifically Randy.
Gotcha. All right. Thanks, guys. So now wait, Ian, since I'm with you, I want to ask you one of your individual questions that I had for you, because a lot of fans that, you know, either watch this live or will catch it later on our YouTube channel, everyone loves behind the scenes stories and, you know, because obviously we all see what's on screen and we love it, but we love the story. So I want to know, just for me, this is my own personal fan question. You know, how did they make your suit be so tight that your arms couldn't go down? I mean, were you actually wearing 5 layers of clothing, or was it a foam thing underneath, or what was the story?
You could actually put your arms down. In fact, if you go back, there is a quick little scene when Randy's getting dressed and the mom's got him all bundled up and got the hat on and she's buttoning him up. My arms are actually down to my side. They're not up.
Yes.
You could actually see it. I discovered it a while back. But they tried multiple things, and I mean, I'll try and give you the quickest version as possible. But there were 2 different suits. There was one suit that you saw where he was getting stuffed in, where he had all the clothes underneath. That was a thinner suit. That's the suit that you could actually see at the Christmas Story house. And then there was the actual big puffy suit filled with fiber fill. And so there were 2 different suits. Now, to keep the arms up, they just used upholstery foam and duct tape. And that was it to keep the arms up. And then a little bit of acting, so you had something to rest your arms on, but a little bit of acting, like, Ian, get your arms up higher, 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 higher. So there you go.
There you go. The movie magic, all the secrets revealed here. I love it. All right. This one, a lot of my questions will be for the group of you until someone triggers, like Ian just did for another note that I have. But for now, I'm going to stick with all 4 of you. For my next question, were any of you at the time, or maybe today, do you have attributes of your character, or are you just completely polar opposites of your character? And that, of course, you know what? No pressure to Yano or Zach, but they are the bullies. So are you guys bullies in real life?
I don't think so.
No, complete opposite. I mean, I think Zach and I share similar stories about being bullied as a child when we were young in school, in 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, junior high school. High school kind of like turned around, but yeah, I mean, I was raised in San Fernando Valley. You guys know where that's at. So I mean, you're actually practically in it right now, right there in Panorama City, which is actually now it's North Hills and Sepulveda. So I went to Sepulveda Junior High and Monroe High School. And so back in the 80s, I mean, it was a rough time. You know what I mean? It was rough. And so you just had to really pay attention to the colors of the clothes that you decided to wear. Because if you try to, wear different colors of your choice that you really love to wear, you might get your butt kicked on the way home from school. Mm-hmm. So I know Zach has a similar story as well. He was from Canada, though. He got his ass whooped a little bit more than I did.
Yeah, we didn't have the color issue when it came to clothing. It wasn't Crips and Bloods and the V12s or whatever. I just went to 8 different schools before junior high and was a new kid named Zach. Without a dad, didn't play hockey, and I had a miniature poodle named Tinkerbell. Yeah, I named the dog myself because I was 6 when I got it, and I thought I was Peter Pan, and Peter Pan's best friend was Tinkerbell, and apparently my mom didn't know that was just a problem waiting to happen. So got in a lot of fights as a kid, and then it was never really the bully. Got to imitate the bully and make fun of him. So, yeah, we're not like it. Now, Scotty Schwartz, on the other hand, got to his job by just talking and having a hot dog because he was a smart mouth little turd from New Jersey. And so he basically, I mean, that's why Bob didn't have to have him audition. He's like, oh, yeah, you're the guy. You're Flick. That's it. You're done.
I mean, I can't say that I was exactly what Flick was, but he was just kind of a fun, wacky kid. He was just a fun, wacky kid if you kind of watch it, playing jokes and all that. And Bob had seen the toy already in the theaters, knew I could do anything, and that's all he wanted. But, I'll touch on this. Bob wanted real children. He didn't want showbiz programmed kids. And that was his biggest thing. I mean, we talked about it way back then and then as the years went on. But everybody that he picked are very natural, very normal kids. Even Peter, had done so much other work. He was still somewhat normal, natural, not programmed, and we all fit that, RD included, and, except for the kid from the school, wow, it's the cops. I mean, we'll just, he was a friend of Bob's kids or whatever, but other than that, we were all natural talents. We just were good kids for the business.
Exactly. Well, guys, I will comment to Zach and Yano, though. I've known Scott a very, very, very long time, and yeah, Scott. So
I don't change. I'm too old now.
We know.
All right, so let's touch more. Let's touch some more on some of the behind the scenes stuff. So a lot of people out there that are watching the show live, get the movie industry. But for those of you who might find us on YouTube later, and are just general fans, movies are filmed both on live locations as well as on movie sets, which are all in enclosed buildings. And I know that A Christmas Story had both versions, or both types of locations. Obviously, depending on where you're filming, snow cannot always be possible. So what I'd like to, and you can all fill in on this. This is where you guys can jump in and you say what you remember or what. So, on the locations that you filmed in that were live, like the live house that's still there to this day, did you guys film in the correct season, and was the snow real? And then when you guys were on inside sets, were they making fake snow for you guys on the sets? Fill us in on some of that behind the scenes magic, and anyone can start. Go for it.
First off, in Cleveland, when we shot, there was no snow. It was, we shot in January, and I mean, it was one of their coldest winters, but there was no snow. So any shot that you see in Cleveland, it was either fire foam or potato flakes, but there was no foam. But anything that was in Canada, they had plenty of snow for us to shoot. So I know the schoolyard. And then the thing is, a lot of with the, like meeting the bullies, it's a question of, sometimes it's in Canada, sometimes it's in Cleveland. So I don't know. I know there's different locations, but yeah, depending on where you were, Cleveland, no snow, Canada was snow. So, and the house, that end scene, that's all fake. That's not real snow.
Oh, okay.
I know.
And then Scotty, on this same line, we'll revert a little bit to snow and cold. And I know you get this question all the time. I know the answer already, but for those of us who are new here watching InHouse-CON, you've got to share with everybody, tell us the secret behind how the tongue got stuck to the pole for real. Because obviously you didn't stick your tongue to a freezing pole. Tell us the
No, I'll do it. If I tell the whole story, the long version, Zach and Yano will be fast asleep. There was a real pole there, but they put a piece of plastic over it that they had painted to make it look like an old rusty pole. They put a hole in it about the size of your pinky nail, very, very small, little tiny hole, with a suction tube that ran down the pole into the snow, and they had buried a small motor in the snow, like a Dirt Devil motor, and it basically acted like a vacuum cleaner suction cup. It was and that was pretty much it. There was, I mean, there it is. Now my tongue's in the little itty bitty hole that's there with the suction. I could pull away. I did pull off several times, just trying to see how far I could stretch out and make it work. But yeah, one quick funny thing is I didn't know how it was going to work. Okay, I had no idea. And so I asked Bob. So they turned the thing on, and Bob just walked up to the pole and stuck his tongue on the pole and went, okay. He said, see how it works? I said, yeah, okay. And then we just did it. Nobody cleaned the pole. It's like his tongue was there, and then my tongue was there. And that didn't hit me for like 25 or 30 years afterwards. I'm like, they never cleaned the pole. So Bob stuck his tongue there, and so did I. It was like, all right, whatever. But that's like movie magic.
It's like you guys kissed, but not.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. let's move on. We don't have, I'm jumping around on my questions too, because I'm excited. Again, the best part of me hosting my own little events online is that I'm a fan of so many of my clients and friends that have done these things. So you guys have to understand, I'm a fan of some of your other work, as well as A Christmas Story, which Scotty knows. By the way, last year, Scotty got me an autographed set that I know that I think Zach and Yano had signed. But anyway, Scotty's gotten stuff for me over the years from you guys. So thank you. I've never met Zach, I've met, but Yano and Ian I hadn't. But thanks guys for doing it. And Scott, thanks for setting it up. I appreciate it. So let's focus on your acting, okay? As actors or other stuff that you do, okay? But I want to focus this first question on acting specifically. And this has kind of become a staple on InHouse-CON as well. What is the one project in your entire career, and it can be film, television, or theater, even though theater we may not be able to go back and watch later, okay? What is the one thing that each of you have done that it is your most amazing performance, your most cherished project that you wish every fan or viewer of our show today could see? Yano, let's start with you.
I mean, for me, it's going to be A Christmas Story. I mean, it's like the epic. It was a pivotal point for me. It was my first movie after doing a boatload of commercials and sitcoms and stuff as a little kid. And then Christmas, we didn't know. We had no idea it was going to be a Christmas classic. And so, I mean, I got to say that Scotty hit it right on the nail. Was like, all we did is we really were just being ourselves. We were having fun. And yes, I know that we were also still focused on portraying what our characters were. At least I know I was, and I know Zach was too, because we had a lot of conversations even as teenagers. Actually, I wasn't even a teenager yet, he was. And so it would have to be A Christmas Story for me, even though I got to tell you that Van Halen Hot for Teacher was an epic moment in my life. When I met Van Halen in 1984, that was like, they were one of the best garage bands on the planet at the time, and being able to hang out with them for 4 days was like, that was a great experience as a teenager.
Amazing. Well, we're going to come back to that. That was in my group of questions, but let's finish this question first. Zach, how about you, sir?
It'd be A Christmas Story and the TV series Titus. Those are the things that I enjoyed the most, in the sense that they were perfectly executed. You work on a lot of different projects, and when you watch some of them, pieces are good, but they're not always as consistent and coherent. And I think Christmas Story, like The Shawshank Redemption, is a perfect film, because it beat by beat, it never drops the ball in the story for the audience. And with the show Titus, I really enjoy playing the character Dave. For those two.
Yeah. Oh, I remember Titus. It was great. Can we currently catch that on one of the streaming platforms by chance, Zach? Do you know?
No, you can't, because reasons. And we're trying to see, because now Disney bought Fox and Disney owns Hulu. So hopefully Disney will throw Titus onto Hulu and it can be streamed, but they've never done anything with it, which kind of sucks. Not like it would make me any money, but it would be really neat for people to be able to watch it.
See it. Well, okay. Any fans watching today, let's support Zach. Start tweeting and social media and get it out there. Say, we want to see the show. That would be great. Ian, how about you, sir?
Thank you.
Well, let's see. I mean, obviously A Christmas Story, but after that, it was in the 90s. I got a chance to work on the Ninja Turtles, and I think that was probably one of the most doing all the puppeteering for Michelangelo. They used to have a television show back in the 90s called The Next Mutation, and it was awful. But they did a crossover episode with the Power Rangers. And so they brought the Turtles down from Vancouver to meet with the Power Rangers, and it was fun because you got to be a part of Ninja Turtle history and playing Michelangelo, who was one of my favorite Ninja Turtles. I mean, even though the whole thing was chaotic and just not very well put together, but it's one of those things you look back and go, you know what, there were a lot of problems, but how fun was it to, you get to say you were a Ninja Turtle for once in your life and everything.
Cool.
So I think that, or working with the Henson Company. I don't know. That was also.
I was just going to ask, as an interjection to that question, because I did see in researching you that you had done some work for Henson. Was that particular project part of the Henson thing, or did that come after?
That came after.
Okay.
It was a completely separate show. I was working with an independent production company called Wandering Monkey, and they had developed a show that they pitched to the Henson Company, who built all the puppets and all the effects. And then we shot it in Toronto, Canada. And so I was there for about maybe 3 to 4 months working on that. So it was working with Henson, but it wasn't exactly a Henson project. But I did get to really learn puppeteering chops, because our main puppeteer was a guy by the name of Bill Beretta. And you may not know the name, but you know the character. He's famous for doing Peppy the Prawn on the Muppets. So he was kind of my mentor, and now he does like Dr. Teeth and Ralph and Swedish Chef and everything. So
yeah, he's great. He's great. I rep a few of my clients have done a lot of stuff for Henson, so I'm very familiar with all of them. And we're going to come back to your stuff on that after Ian's. I've got questions about that. Scotty, answer the question. The thing that every fan needs to see that you've done.
I wish they could have seen it. I know they never videoed it. I know they never taped it. But I did Frankenstein on Broadway, and I played Dr. Frankenstein's younger brother, who in the original book, he exists, but in the movie, they don't have a brother. But it was great because I got killed on Broadway at the Palace Theater every night by the monster. And Tom Moore was the director who did Grease. 2-time Academy Award winner Diane Wiest played Dr. Frankenstein's girlfriend Elizabeth. John Glover plays Dr. Frankenstein's best friend. David Dukes actually played Dr. Frankenstein, and he was the second one. The first one was another actor whose name was William Converse Roberts, who actually is the one that I thought was better, and I loved him, and then they just replaced him because they wanted a name. But it went 29 preview performances, opening night at the Palace, and we closed. And at the time, it was the biggest non-musical flop in the history of Broadway. But it was great. I mean, we had 50-foot-high sets. When the lightning hit, the guy that did it, his name was Bran Ferrin, who did Scanners with William Hurt. I mean, he was great. So when the lightning bolts did it, he had every seat in the theater wired to do this. I mean, it was crazy, but that was something that I really wish more people could have seen. The movies and stuff, they're out there, and commercials, with all the different things with YouTube and Bing and all everything. You just look up Scott Schwartz commercials and stuff comes up. And I find stuff I don't even have that people put up there, But no, the Broadway show that I did I thought it was great.
I wish I could have seen it. That sounds amazing. Oh, wow.
I'll send you a picture.
Please, I would love to see it. All right, let's continue. Oh, you know what we'll do before we continue? So we can take a breather for 1 second. Something fun. Guys, this means absolutely nothing. This is just for a riot. Everyone at home play along. My celebrity guest, please play along. My tech guy, Tyler, is going to throw up a poll, and we're all going to answer this question together as a group. So, Tyler, let's do a poll here. How many times a year do you watch A Christmas Story? Once every day in December, once a year, 24-hour marathon, or throughout the year? So everybody click on your answer and submit your poll. And after we take a few, after I ask another question and we hear the replies, we'll see what the results are. So guys, let's talk about the infamous leg lamp. I want to know what your honest opinion of it was back then as a child. I want to know what your opinion of it is today. And would you put one in your front window?
That's an Ian question.
It's an Ian. Well, okay, Ian, you kick it off, and then everybody else answer. Ian, go for it.
I can answer all those actually. Yeah. I mean, when they exposed the leg lamp, like when Darren actually pulls it out of the crate, that's pretty much us seeing it for the first time. We didn't get to see it before. We didn't even really know what it was. He didn't tell us it's going to, oh, okay, in this scene, he's going to pull a leg out of but it's technically a lamp, so just pretend it's a leg. We just saw it like, what the hell is that? And then, finally we caught on, after filming. But yeah, I mean, even especially, Peter had a lot more to say about it than I did, being an 8-year-old kid, and he's on the verge of puberty. So he had more comments. To me, it was just like, oh, it's a leg. That's pretty much all it is. But it was still, exciting to see. And once it became a lamp and everything. And then what was the question after that?
Would you actually put one in your own window?
I actually had one in my own window. Yeah. So when I did a what I call a tour of duty at the house, and when I was there, they had a leg lamp up in the little loft, and I had this girl that I was seeing. She came to visit me while I was in the house. So we took the leg lamp and we took it all over Cleveland and took pictures with it and different, spots, different monuments and everything. And then I kind of grew attached to it. And I told Brian, I was like, hey, this one particular leg lamp I want to buy off you. How much do you want? He's like, just take it. You could have it. So that was my leg lamp.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah. So I did have a leg lamp in the window for a while. I would put it out for Christmas when I used to live in Cleveland, and I'd put it out. And once in a while, somebody would stop by and take a picture of it, but nobody knew who I was. They did not know who was putting that leg lamp in the window, and I never told anybody who I was. And in fact, there were people in the neighborhood that would put leg lamps up in their windows, the neighborhood that I would live in, and I would walk by them and I would say, hey, nice lamp. They still had no idea who I was. I never told them who I was.
I love it.
But I would leave little presents for them at Christmas time. But they never knew who I was. They never knew that Randy was living in their neighborhood.
I love it.
That's epic.
Yano, how about you, Yano? What do you think of the lamp, and would you have one in your window?
I mean, the lamp is iconic. I mean, it was brilliant that Brian actually created that and started selling it, and it's become iconic throughout the nation. It represents a Christmas story. No matter what you do, there's going to be a leg lamp on almost all of the merchandise that you see. That's the leg lamp. Would I have it personally in my window? Nah. I wouldn't. I don't. I have one. I have one in the house, but I don't have actually a space to put it in the front window. But when I do see other people that have the leg lamps, or even bars or restaurants or places that you may go, they like have a leg lamp. I'm like, look, that's awesome. But just like Ian, it's like nobody knows who I am. Nobody walks down the street. I mean, Zach gets it all the time because he's been in so much other stuff that he's recognized. And then like, holy shit, like you were the bully in Christmas Story too, right? But for me, it's like nobody recognizes me. So, but that leg lamp, man, it was just brilliant to be able to mass produce it.
Absolutely. Zach, what do you think about the leg lamp, and do you display it every year proudly in your window?
I had a really cool big one at one point, and then it got broken, so I don't have one anymore. I think the leg lamp is awesome. It's interesting how it's changed. Like if you look at the movie, when the lamp comes up, there's some butt right there. There's a little cleft of a very firm buttock, and nowadays it just goes up to the upper thigh. I think it's just I think it's funny that the movie that we shot in the 80s is far more risque than what they're actually able to sell nowadays, because they're scared.
They do have it now with the butt,
right? Like, oh, people don't have butts anymore in 2020. We're not allowed to have butts. So I'm sitting on my legs because I have no butt. I think the lamp is brilliant, and I always wondered where the idea came from. The guys were what I understood is there was 4 of them, and all of them ended up in a trash pile. And so the original 4 were destroyed in the process of making the film. I think Ian and Scotty know more about this than I do. But I always thought the idea of it was genius, because the old man plays all the crossword games. And back then there was like grape knee-high, which was like a soda. So it just seemed like the combination of the existing marketing at the time, and then just random awesomeness. And I don't know if it was originally in any of the books, but
It was, yeah.
was it really in?
Yeah, it's called what was it called? The Birth of Pop Art was the short story. And it was basically all about, because like you said, it was the Knee-High Soda Company, and that was the original logo for the Knee-High is they showed a leg and standing next to a bottle, and the bottle was supposed to be knee-high. And so the contest, apparently that was the old man entered, was from the Knee-High Soda Company. So his major award was, that's what it was. It's in Oh God We
In God,
In God
We
Trust.
Trust.
Cash.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you, Ian. I always guessed that was a knee-high thing. I didn't know if it was actually. Yeah. I didn't know if it was actually.
I have it. I'm not going to read it to you, but I will show you this. This is the book, In God We Trust, All Love Is Pay Cash, and it is autographed by Gene Shepard himself.
That's cool.
We'll be getting that on the set.
That's really cool.
So you're actually right, Zach. I mean, it was based on that, and it is a story in the book. It's actually a pretty funny story. So
okay,
check it out.
Buddy,
we go.
give us your input on the leg lamp.
I mean, the history of it is there, but it ends up becoming a tremendous marketing thing for the film, Warner Brothers, and everybody else. I don't have one in my window. I have a little candle holder version of that on my fireplace mantle. But where I am right now in Memphis, going to Jerry Lawler's 50th anniversary in wrestling, Jerry has the 46-inch leg lamp in his window that faces the street every day of the year, 365 days. December 1st, he turns it on. January 1st, he turns it off. But it sits there all year long. If you drove by his house, you could see the monster leg lamp there. But I wouldn't put one in my window. That's not because I'm anti, the leg. I just don't have a window kind of thing that would work.
Okay, we'll go with that, Scotty.
My girlfriend wouldn't care. She wouldn't care. She don't know whatever. I think Jen would like that. Come on, Zach. I think Jen would like that in the front window.
It's not that my wife would be insulted by it. I think it would be just a little egregiously self-commentary towards anybody who comes to the house. Like, I'm also not going to walk around with a Scott Farkas or Christmas Story t-shirt all the time because it makes me look like a jackass. So, I like the lamp and it's cool. It'd be a nice piece for my office, but not in my front window.
Right.
Not
Yeah,
24/7.
but nobody knows that you're the guy.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, well, then. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. They absolutely do. Yeah, that's not a thing.
Okay, let's take a look at let's look at the results of our poll. Tyler, let's throw that up there. So once a year looks like is the winner. Okay, excellent, good. For me, it's going to be twice a year this year because I think I'm going to have to go back and watch it tomorrow. So let's learn a little bit more about each of our panelists aside from A Christmas Story. And this is no particular orders, guys. I'm just going off my notes. So Yano, let's start with you. Can you share a little bit about body transformation and your expertise in the field? Let's educate people on that.
Well, sure. So back in, I would say 2001 is when my quest to change my life, because I found myself fat and sloppy and just unhealthy. And being raised by my mother was a registered dietitian, so I was always healthy food in the house, and she was a bodybuilder, and so I was always exposed to sports as a kid too. I surfed, I raced dirt bikes. I was just very active as a kid. And so when I decided to get educated, that's when I really learned exercise science and exercise physiology and then human nutrition. And so I just applied that to myself, which I completely changed my body. And it took me a while because my body is a little bit different than most. I'm a short, wide dude, which if anybody knows about body types, then you have to apply different tactics to that human body. And so it took me a while to change, worked out consistently for about 8 years, and just started helping other people do that. And then eventually opened up a gym and did that for several years, and then closed down the gym. And now I'm working with a functional medicine practice. So I've taken my I would say my expertise to a different level of not just working, because COVID changed everything too, man. We have to, have to understand that, COVID has really changed the face of what fitness looks like for people that own gyms or smaller business owners with gym owners. And so being able to work with that or work around it. And also just, I kind of changed my career path. Instead of being a body transformation expert to most of my clients, I closed down that gym, got rid of all the equipment. And now I'm helping people that have, I would say, autoimmune dysfunctions is my practice, my focus is now. So, yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Can you hear me? Or do we get
Yeah,
lost?
you broke up just at the end, but
Okay.
we heard everything. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Zach, I'd like to move on to
Okay.
you. And I want to know if you can share some information about your company, Grit Filmworks, and have you got any projects that we should be looking out for?
Sure. Grit Filmworks is my production company that I've done 2 features through, Restoration and Bethany. Actually 3. Well, I have another feature that I produced called Don't Blink. The movie I'm working on right now is called Patsy Lee and the Keepers of the 5 Kingdoms. It's like the Goonies meets Big Trouble in Little China. James Hong is one of the stars of it. James Hong is 92. He was in Big Trouble in Little China. He was also in, he's got 640 credits on IMDb Pro. He was also in, he's the most prolific actor in the history of Hollywood, apparently. He's 92 and he's a pain in the butt, but he's awesome. He was also in Blade Runner.
Yeah.
He's also in Blade Runner. So this movie, Patsy Lee and the Keepers of the 5 Kingdoms, is kids in a small town get fallen through a portal into a magical world based on Chinese mythology with animatronic puppets and little people with robot heads. And it's a puppeteering type of thing, puppets and fake worlds and prosthetics, hopping vampires and CGI, and just a lot of craziness. And so hopefully that'll be coming out next year. We're just in the post process with that. So that's what I got going on.
That sounds cool. I definitely have to see that. Good luck with it. I hope it does well for you.
Me too.
So, good segue. You've got puppets in it. So Ian, one of my questions for you was about your hobby and then your some of the work that you've done with marionettes and puppetry. So can you share with the viewers a little bit about your history with that?
I could, yeah. The old history right now, because right now I'm not really doing a whole lot of anything. Just life's been shit wall to wall. But I mean, I started off in the 90s, doing it. It was really kind of a bad time to get into it, actually, because in the 90s when you got into it, it was everything like film and television was crossing over to CG. So as far as doing practical effects, people were moving away from that. And, I was kind of like in the last areas of doing stuff. I mean, working on, Ninja Turtles, and that was kind of the end of Ninja Turtles. And then Henson was trying to, branch off into CG. So after that, it's like there really wasn't much to do. So I just kind of had to go the independent route and try and do short films and more independent stuff. Then after that, I got out of it for a while because it just wasn't really panning out. Nothing was happening. Nowadays, it's great because nowadays a lot of people are starting to go back to that, which is awesome to see. You're seeing a lot of these bigger productions, move back into practical effects. And then which is great. So I was kind of excited, when I moved back to LA, because this is, obviously the production world. But, thank you, COVID, for shutting everything down for a while. So I had to, but I have other stuff that I got to take care of out here. So I haven't had a whole lot of time to do much. So
Well,
moving on.
Yeah, moving on. But you never know what the future will hold with Hollywood. I think finally the studio started listening to a lot of the fans. And I mean, I know a lot about practical effects versus the special effects, CGI and stuff, only because so much of the clientele that I work with were part of that industry, as I said. And I think companies started listening to the fans because, Star Wars episodes 1, 2, and 3 were the perfect example of how upset the fans got and how it affected the franchise. And when Disney bought everything from Lucasfilm and they went to shoot the next ones, J.J. Abrams was like, CGI is fine, but we're going to go back to doing what made Star Wars, and that was the miniatures and the practical effects, the real life stuff. And so there's certainly a resurgence for it now, and I hope it continues. So you never know.
The technology has also gotten a lot better with it. It's not, it actually, is more advanced now, where you can't even really tell, like, what's CG and what's practical. I've noticed that too. So, but yeah, I think there is a sort of, nostalgic quality to it that fans want to see. So it's great to see that it's having a comeback.
I think it's actually interesting because you look at things like Ray Harryhausen and the Seven Voyages of Sinbad, and even though it's a claymation Cyclops, you get lost in the story. Even though it's forced perspective to make it work, you get lost in the story. Whereas you look at a movie like The Day After Tomorrow, and I remember seeing this film in theaters, and everything's going fine, and then the hero is being chased by wolves, and CGI wolves turn the corner, and the entire audience goes, "Aw," like it just disconnects from the story. It takes you out of it, and you no longer care. Whereas the combination, like Ian was saying, the combination of practical and CGI creates a blend where the audience can just give way and they don't get distracted by the garbage look of the CGI.
One of the things I can say is when I was working with that company, Wandering Monkey, and they were pitching their show Brats of the Lost Nebula to the WB, and it was supposed to be an all puppet practical effects show, minus some exteriors and some over the top effects were going to be CG. Warner Brothers was really pushing, like, why do we want to do puppets? Why not use CG? We really want to use CG. And the executive producer and creator of the show, the gentleman by the name of Dan Clark, he gave one of the best pitches that I think I've ever heard when it comes to using puppets. And that is, he said, we could use CG because it's going to be more practical and cheaper and better. But the difference between puppets and practical effects is they're real. The light that shines on a puppet is the same light that shines on you. They're in the same type of air. They're in the same atmosphere. Everything is real life. And that was basically one of his pitches. And that's what basically sold them to use puppets. Yeah. Now, were they the best puppets? No, but we still got to use puppets.
You can totally see the difference as a viewer. I mean, something that's tangible, that's physical, you can, even if it's a miniature, whatever, you can see the difference.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even like what Zach was hinting to when it came to like Ray Harryhausen, I mean, it was the same thing. It was practical. It's still the same. It's the same light. It just looks real. It's organic is what it is. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people, now are able to go back to it, is because not only, the technology, just the type of, material they use as far as using foam to, now they're using more silicone based, substances. It just looks more real. So.
Thank you, Ian. I appreciate that very much. Scotty, your turn here. I want to ask you about, you've done a lot of films, but you got to work with two Hollywood legends and icons, Richard Pryor and Jackie Gleason. I was wondering if maybe you could share with our viewers, maybe some things that you learned from them and what they were like. And here's a flip part to this question. Did you teach them anything?
That's funny. No, I don't think there was any way I could have taught them anything. Stories about them, we'd be here all day and night. They were just fun. They didn't treat me as a kid because I was a movie buff and a fan, and I appreciated their work, and I did impressions of both of them. So they liked me, which helped greatly. They would share anything, tell me anything, teach me anything. Richard was by far my biggest influence as far as, as a person in my life, been my biggest influence. And Gleason was just great. The stories and the different things that we talked about, it was just an amazing experience to be with two icons. And of course, Richard Donner, Ray Stark, Wilfred Hyde White, Ned Beatty. I mean, these people had 30, 40, 50 years in show business. So it was the cattle call, like what the other guys went on for Christmas Story. That's where I started with the toy with 600, 700 people. And it just went down, and it was what was meant to be, but phenomenal experience.
Is the toy on one of the on the film platforms? Do you know? Can people?
Oh, I'm sure. I don't have any of them, but I'm sure that it is, though. Kidco, again, what Zach was saying about 20th. Kidco was done by 20th Century Fox, and now Disney has it. They used to show it on Fox Family, so I would imagine somewhere Disney will play it somewhere. But I know they have it on DVD as well.
It's a great little film. I love it. So let's go to some fan questions. Our first question is from Frankie, and it's directed to Zach. Can you share your experience on Resident Evil?
Yeah, sure. One of the coolest things about that film, we shot it in Toronto, Canada, where I'm from, and that scene where I kill the dogs, I get attacked. Basically, a big cafeteria. And I go in there and I save the day by shooting all the zombies, and I get eaten by the dogs. We shot that in my high school. So it was really cool to go back 20-odd years later, 15 years later, whatever it was, and get to shoot up my own cafeteria without going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Childhood moment. That was cool. Yeah, that movie was a lot of fun. There's the opening sequence where we come in, we're in a helicopter on top of a 50-story building, and we come in and we jump off the helicopter and kill bag zombies. That's a real helicopter. There was a hurricane coming off the coast of Ontario, and so the helicopter was bucking. We were about 80 feet above a 50-story building, so do the math on that. And there's no seatbelt, dude. Because when the helicopter comes down, you got the skids on the side, and you got to put a foot out, jump out, and start shooting. Even though it's blanks, I mean, there's real weaponry. And, so if the helicopter did this, you just fall and die. It was freaking crazy. It was awesome. So every day was training with bull pups. I had this machine gun, an SMG, small machine gun, called a Tavor. And it's an Israeli machine gun. You can also see there some of the stuff used in Quantum of Solace with James Bond. And so every day I was training with that, and then my sidearm pistol, and hand-to-hand combat and lifting stuff and doing weights. And it was awesome. It was really, really cool.
Thank you so much. Our next question is from Jim, and this is directed towards Scotty. He wants to know how many takes did it take to do the tongue on the pole scene. And I know you talked about the director trying it before you did. He wants to add to that. Did they put any flavoring on the pole? So it would be
no
so
flavoring.
Bob did.
Bob did.
No flavoring, none of that. Just Bob's saliva, I guess. We actually had to shoot it twice. My first day of shooting was the flagpole scene, and we did it. It took 12 and a half hours from beginning to end. That was all the stuff outside, and then having to move the cameras inside. and you could see me all by myself in the field, you know, in the pole. So we did it, and then about 2.5 weeks later, Bob came over to me and he said, well, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is you're going to be with us an extra 5 days. The bad news is they underdeveloped the film, and we have to go and shoot the whole thing over again. So the second time we did it, the second day, we cut it down to 11.5 hours from 12.5 hours. So, and I looked at the other question. I cheated. The production designer has the original leg lamp.
Does he?
Okay, so you're answering William's question. He wanted to know what happened to the original lamp. So go ahead,
Yes.
say that again, Scotty.
He has the one that's left. There were, I guess there was either 2 or 3 that were made and they were broken. Of course, that's part of the film, but there's one that's not broken. And our production designer took it home and he still has it.
You mean Ruben Fried?
Yes.
Then he lied to me. I asked him, I said, what happened to it? He said, there's none left.
To my understanding, Bob said to me, Ruben had it.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe he doesn't want you to go steal it, Ian.
Maybe he broke it or his wife broke
No,
it.
because I talked to him for a while and I wanted to know about it. And he said, nah, dude. He said, we destroyed all of them. But I guess maybe that's it. He's like, just tell this idiot whatever. I don't want him here in my house. So.
Hey, you know, sometimes with some of the other people that I rep, especially on these bigger films like Star Wars and stuff, you know, they watch every little prop. So maybe it was more of a thing where he wasn't supposed to have it and he didn't want anyone to know. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. You never know.
Give him the benefit of the doubt. You know what it probably is? I'll bet you I know what it is. He didn't want to tell me because he knew that I was friends with Brian Jones. And if I would have told Brian that Ruben had a leg, Brian would have probably been at his house. I don't know how many times trying
to buy it.
I don't know why he didn't tell me, because he didn't want me to tell Brian. Because Brian he just wants to buy everything. So.
Gotcha. Let's do another poll, and then I'm going to ask one more question to play us out on. Tyler, let's throw up another poll for fun and see what we can come up with here. With everybody. There we go. No, we already did that one. I want a new poll. Tyler, my tech guy's asleep at the switch. Here we go. Trivia. What does Ralphie want for Christmas? An airsoft gun, a revolver, a BB gun, or comic books? So this is a different type of poll. We're going to see if everyone's paying attention. So while we wait for the results to come in,
make them hard. Easy question.
Well, yeah, it's easy for you because you were in the film.
It's easy for everybody. That's what the whole movie's about. It's a red.
Are you complaining about my tech guy and his ability to come up with interesting polls? Is that what you're doing? Okay.
Yes, that is a horrible question.
Tyler, I might have to fire you. Since we're getting this complaint, let's show the results to that one, and let's throw up another poll, Tyler, so that you can
give you one.
Here's your BB gun. All right.
Yeah, see? Come on.
Okay, hold on. We'll let you do it. Tyler, throw up another poll. Make it not a trivia one. Now Tyler's nervous. He's gun shy now. No, he doesn't want to do it. Okay, there you go. This one will be tougher. Trivia. Ralphie Parker and his family on what street? Massachusetts, Cleveland, Missouri, or Kansas? All right, we'll do that in a second. Ian, go ahead. You have a trivia question. Go for it.
All right, here's a trivia question. How do you say fragile in Italian?
Fragile.
No.
How do you say
That's funny.
That's the only way we know. Well, we got the fragile.
How do you say fragile in Italian?
No.
Want the answer?
Yeah.
Fragile.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Fragile.
Okay. Well, there you go. Apparently, today is not the day for hard or easy questions. Tyler, show us the answer to the trivia question, and then we'll take our last one. So they all lived on Cleveland Street. Excellent. Okay, guys, we're at the end of our hour, but before we head out, I want to ask one more question to all of you. And this one, it's just to bring us full circle. You know, Christmas Story has become a classic in the hearts of millions of people. We watch it every year. I hope people tuning in that might have never seen it will watch it. Because some of the fans that watch our show, guys, they're not necessarily fans of the people we have on, and they learn new things about us. So I encourage everyone to watch it this year when it's on TV, or get the Blu-ray, because it is out now. But I'd like each of you to be a little bit personal with us now and share. Do you guys, what's your holiday like? Do you celebrate Christmas? What is your tradition with your family? Who wants to kick that one off? Your holiday traditions.
We're pagans, so we follow a Wiccan calendar and deal with the summer and winter solstice. And there's something called a sky-clad ceremony, which means that you're basically just covered in the eyes of the sky and sharing it with the spirits. So basically you're naked, and then we dance around a mulberry bush and make sure that we're freshly shaved. And that's how we start the year.
Do you have a plethora of mulberry bushes in your backyard?
Si, guapo, I have a plethora. You know what a plethora is?
Okay. Thanks, Zach. I don't want to piss you off, but I'm afraid you'd cast a spell on me. So, okay, Yano, how about you?
Yeah, it's traditional. There's 3 movies that I would usually watch, and that's going to be A Christmas Story, Love Actually, and oh man, Elf is the 3 that we traditionally watch. So yeah, I try to. I mean, Christmas is like, especially for people that don't necessarily know about A Christmas Story, haven't never watched it. There's a lot of Christmas classics in the United States, right? It's American iconic classics, and there's a large population out there of people that don't know Christmas Story even exists. But the ones that do, the ones who actually love this movie, who's been in their life and their households for many years, I mean, it's a special time of year. I mean, because of the fact that it hits different generations. When you have children, you have the parents, then you have the grandparents, and now you have great-grandchildren now that hopefully, this is one thing that I'd like to tell everybody, is that my son is now 25 years old. Isn't that crazy, you guys? He's 25. And one thing that he told me, he's like, Dad, you need to tell everybody, to keep telling everybody about this, because my generation doesn't know A Christmas Story exists. And so it really is up to the people who actually love that movie to share it and to pass it down to their kids and make it a tradition on a yearly basis. Because I mean, and that's the only way it's going to last, is if it's actually played and people actually sit down and watch it, because it does. I mean, it speaks to me. I mean, there's so many different scenes in that movie, and plus it's special to me as well because I was in it. So it's like every time I just the video of what you showed, right, of A Christmas Story, all those little scenes in the movie, it's like I'm sitting here with permagrin. Like every time I watch it, it just puts a smile on my face. It makes me feel like I was a part of something that is so special, because we are. And so I just encourage everybody, if you've never seen it, to watch it. Like, sit down and watch the whole thing, because there's a lot of people that get bits and pieces because it's on in the household all day long, but they never actually sit and watch it. And so, yeah, The Christmas Story is like, I mean, it's an epic movie, man, and people really should just rever it and hopefully keep it alive for a very long time. And that's because Christmas is a special time of year. Christmas Story is just a part of that experience, right? It's one little part of waking up in the morning and seeing the kids run down and open up presents and just having that experience with family. And that's something that for me as a kid was special, until you learn that, Santa isn't real. Santa doesn't really exist. That's just that's right. I'm sorry, my bad. I just told everybody the truth. Damn.
No politics or religion.
I know, no politics.
No, religion. It's a good answer, Yano. Thank you.
Yeah.
Scotty, how about you? Your family traditions at the holidays?
We never really had traditions at the holidays. just was never a thing in our house. We never put up a Hanukkah bush. We never did a Christmas tree. We're Jewish, whatever. Normally, I go and celebrate it with different friends or family members or whatever. I've come here actually to Memphis and spent it with Jerry Lawler and his family once. And this year I'm going to go to Kentucky with my girlfriend Riley, and we're going to spend it with her family. And, you know, I never had something that I did every single year. When my grandmother was alive years ago, we did a afternoon thing at the senior citizens home that apartment building she lived in. And they would show Christmas Story, and I'd be there with my grandma and whatever. But I mean, I was like 17, 18 at that time. You know, after that, you know, really just that wasn't what my family did, you know.
Well, that's all right. You know
I
what?
was a prick. What do you want? He doesn't do holidays, you know.
Hey, you've got your own tradition. You share it with different people, and that's fine. And who
I
knows?
do.
The future might be bright with your girlfriend, and you'll start your own traditions with her. So it's perfect.
Not going to go well. Not going to go well.
Okay. Positive vibes.
He's
only.
laughing. No, he's laughing.
Okay, thank God. Ian, how about you? What about your family traditions?
Well, I mean, for the past 8 years, I've been away from family, so I didn't even really celebrate Christmas that much. I'm not even a really big Christmas guy. I just would spend it with my dog. That was it. I'd make food, turkey, and we'd have Christmas at our little apartment. Now that I'm back in LA, you know, it'll be nice because now I'll actually get to see family again. You know, it's her last year, so I saw some cousins who I haven't seen for like almost 25 years. That was interesting. So we'll see now. I guess get back to me on what traditions are going to be now.
We can do that.
You gotta go to Derek's for his Christmas party.
Yes, I have. I don't know if I'm going to do it this year because of COVID, but I do.
Yeah.
It's going to be the first time in 24 years that I think I'm not going to host it, but I host an annual holiday party every year for my clients and friends and family, and I cook all the food.
Wow.
And we just go all out. But I can promise you that if I have it this year, you're all invited. Not the viewers, the guests. And if I don't have it this year, next year I'll make sure that you're on the guest list. So
you know, when I was in Cleveland, a lot of people would come up and say, "You're more than welcome to come to my house for Christmas."
Oh.
I was like, "No." No, I already know what's gonna happen. I'm not doing it.
There's a plate of mashed potatoes waiting for you.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, we are at the end of our time. I appreciate my guests this week taking time out of their own schedules to be with us. I really appreciate it. Like every week, I have to give my little speech here. I appreciate every viewer that's out there that purchased tickets today, whether it was a virtual ticket or an autographed ticket. We have a saying here in America, small business is the backbone of America. And my company, even though we work with big name celebrities, I'm not the one raking in the dough, guys. I am a small core business. It's just me and my family that run it. So you have supported small business in America, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing that. We're going to give everybody a chance up until Monday to purchase autographs from all of our guests today. We're going to leave that up in our store. My tech guy, Tyler, is posting the link right now in the chat room, so you guys can go on anytime this weekend, look at the various 8x10s that we have available, and you can purchase those, and we'll get them out to the guys to be signed and then off to you guys. It'll take about 30 days to get your orders. So if you want to do that, hey, Christmas is coming. Maybe it could be a Christmas gift for someone. You never know. So thank you so much for watching. I want to thank, of course, again, Nerd Alert News, Be More Super Podcast, Beckett Media, Comic-Con Network, as well as social media and all the fans out there. So let's kick off our goodbyes with our celebrities today. Yano, why don't you start us off?
Bye, guys. Have a great rest of your year. Be as safe as possible. Be aware what's around you.
Thanks, Yano. Take care now. Ian, how about you, sir?
Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for supporting the film. Stay a fan. Stay cool. Stay safe.
Cheers. Thanks, Ian. Zach, how about you?
Nice to meet everybody. Thank you for your time. Keep creating. It'll make you happy. Have a great year. Do what you can.
Stay safe, Zach. Scotty, my friend, you get to close.
It's me and you once again. No, just thank everybody who's watching. and supporting us, supporting the film. You know, all the guys are gone except me. Now, you know, everybody thinks, you know, we're rich and famous and all that from doing that, but that's not really the case. So if you guys do buy an autograph or do something like that, it really does help all of us pay our bills and take care of all the things, because we all really do need it. We love everybody. We thank whoever watched the show, and maybe you'll watch the show later. And since I'm the last one, I get to thank our wonderful, beautiful host, who I love so much, and my friend Derek. So thank you for putting this together, and, you know, be safe, happy, healthy, enjoy the rest of the new year, the holidays, and, you know, wear a mask because we have to. Otherwise, just stay safe, everybody, and try and enjoy life and make a joke every day.
Thanks, Scotty. I appreciate it. I'll see you soon, I hope, my friend.
Yes.
All right. Bye-bye now. All right, guys, that brings us to the close of another In-House Con. I want to thank my tech guy, Tyler. Without him, none of this would be possible. My webmaster, Sarah, she's just amazing. And everyone else joining in every week, I appreciate it. I have 36 seconds of credits, guys. It's not a movie theater. Don't get up and walk away. Please watch, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Take care now. Bye-bye.